Art was scowling. But hey, he wasn't crying, right? So that was good. Oh, you should talk. At least Roman is doing something with his life. He's super passionate about his work. You mean carving scented candles into political figures and then selling them for $50 so people can burn down the establishment? And he's got a future, okay? What do you have, other than an apartment your folks gave you and a phone full of hookup apps? Oh God, was he crying again? Roman was an adult, and he cared about me. You just said he was a dick. So what, he's a dick, you're a dick, I'm a dick, everyone's a dick, PK. He brushed angrily at his face. Just some dicks you fall in love with. This seemed like a really good time to point out that I could be the kind of dick he fell in love with. I mean, not like with my actual dick, with me as a human who happened to be a dick. I wasn't going to bring my dick up in a conversation with a crying post-breakup person who was huddled around his computer like it was the only thing keeping him from falling apart. Except suddenly Joey Cagliari was standing there looking like he was torn between laughing and laying down the law. Think you can take it upstairs, Mr. Harrington? Mrs. Vanderplibble is threatening to call the police if you don't stop shouting about dicks in the lobby. Yeah. I shuffled. Sorry. For this way too long moment, both of us just stood there. Art's hair was curling slightly from the rain, and I couldn't stop thinking about how much I wanted to touch it, twine it around my fingers, just like I wanted Art to be entwined around me. Not in a creepy welcome to my basement way, in a please never leave me again way. He hefted his computer tower a bit more firmly under his arm. PK? Oh, shit. I was so busy daydreaming about having Art in my life I hadn't even invited him into my apartment, but this was totally my moment. My moment to show Art that I was there for him, that he was safe and welcome and important to me. Even if the world was a nuclear wasteland overrun with feral zombies and all I had was a bunker, a teaspoon, and a tin of baked beans I couldn't open, my bunker would be his bunker, my teaspoon, his teaspoon, and my tin of baked beans I couldn't open, his tin of baked beans he couldn't open. So you want to come up? In my head, I was escorting him toward the elevator all gentlemanlike, but in reality I was arm-flopping at the hall. Also, why are you holding your computer like a puppy? You know that thing where people say if your house was on fire, what would you take? Please tell me you lit Roman's place on fire. I imagined his half-burned scarf lying amongst the ashes like a limp dick. My eagerness to see Roman's studio in ruins fell flat at the devastation in Art's eyes. Sorry, I mumbled. We got in the elevator, standing decorously side by side, like we were at a funeral for someone neither of us had known that well, but whose funeral both of us felt obligated to attend. While we rose with agonizing slowness to the third floor, I racked my brain for something to say. Something smart. Something sensitive. Something appropriate to the situation of my best friend showing up super sad because he broke up with his loser, quite successful artist jerk guy, boyfriend. Do you want to get drunk? Art did this tearful chortle thing. I'm not sure if it was actual amusement or more like, I can't believe that's all you got. No. Thank you. I think I just want to sit. Or lie down? Actually, I probably don't want to lie down. I definitely couldn't sleep right now. Sit! I could do that. I flung open the door to my apartment, rushed over to the sofa, and triumphantly shoved a stack of fancy literary magazines my parents had gotten me an annual subscription for, but I hardly ever actually looked at, to the floor. Art sort of trailed in after me. Then he frowned at the magazine avalanche, which I immediately stacked more, respectfully, because Art was a book lover, a short story lover, a word lover, and didn't like to see fancy literary magazines disrespected like that. He was the one who used to read them back in college. I'd dump my mail in a pile next to my bed, and he'd rescue the magazines, which he'd go through from cover to cover and talk about with my parents the next time he saw them. In his extended absence, they'd gone largely unread and unloved. But all that was over now. Art was back. Sans that jerk Roman. I gestured, please have a seat on this luxurious sofa I have cleared for you, but he just kept standing there, clutching his computer tower, staring off into space, but at least not lecturing me on the proper way to stack magazines I didn't care about. Which, I'm not joking, was definitely a topic on which he could wax poetic for way too long. He'd been working at the same bookstore since he was 18, and he takes that stuff for serious.